This is the Wednesday edition of the marketing huddle that we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 1 o'clock in here and on Zoom. So if you can't be here, definitely be on Zoom. It's conversation. It's obviously a little different than the one-on-ones because every one of you's marketing is different completely from other people in the room. But there are some overarching, overall, welcome, Jeanette, overall catch-all kind of topics that we're going to discuss in here. And then individually, anything you want to bring up, discuss as well. So first of all, I'll start it like I always do and say, how's everybody doing? How's their marketing going? We'll take questions right off the bat if you have some questions. Got a big turnout in here today, so we'll go through them. Yes, ma'am. It varies. It's sometimes her question was about Google My Business verification, and sometimes it's Google does things, as you can imagine, a company of the size of the Alphabet company does things on their own timetable. They do not care about your timetable nor mine. So sometimes it's been as few as 24 hours. And we actually had a couple of agents last year that went as long as 3 to 5 months. Yeah. Yes, it's all over the place. And I actually thought there was a mistake when the one came back in 24 hours. And I was like, well, they just don't understand. Or somebody hit approve twice. It didn't mean to. Yeah. Lord have mercy. Google, yeah. It's now called your Google Business Profile. Google My Business still exists. And that app still exists, but that is only for businesses with multiple locations, like McDonald's and Taco Bell and car dealerships. It is not for small businesses. For small businesses, they have something called Google Business Profile. And that is the same thing. When you, man, I wish this thing could do this and be hooked up to that screen behind me at the same time. We're going to find out how to do that. But in the meantime, when you Google someone, I shall right now, you just open your browser and you go, let's see. The ways people search you guys up. Chris, you don't have yours set up either? Your Google Business Profile? It's not showing up. It's not showing up. You know, I'll do Bob. So I'm just doing this on my phone, guys. I don't know if you can see or tell, but that's what it looks like. Okay. So when you Google someone, and normally, I got to stay right here. Normally, you just get the list of links, right? You would get Bob Clarkson Real Estate, Bob Clarkson Century 21. You get all these just list of links. That's what I got when I searched up Chris Kimmey just now. When I searched up Bob Clarkson Real Estate in Google, it looks different. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it has buttons that say call, directions, share, website, has his address. You scroll down, has his phone number, his open and close hours. Like he says today, he's open till 7 p.m. That's what your Google Business Profile is. When people look you up, this is what you want them to see. Not just a list of links that they have got to go further now to find information on you and contact information. You want them to see this contact information immediately at the top of the page, where if I wanted to call him, I just touch that button call right there. Okay. If I didn't think he was still in the closing, I would do it right now. Put it on speakerphone. But this is what you want it to look like. And you and I have to do whatever it takes to get yours to look like this. It's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important. Now, the caveat to this, you can't set it up till you have a website and social media channels and all of those things, because this in the setup process is going to ask you those questions. And if you don't have the answers to it, you kind of have to stop, go do the other stuff, come back and do this. Get everything else set up, everything else just like you like it, your social, your web, everything. Then we set this up. But this is the big boy right here. It's called a Google Business Profile. Yes, sir. In the back.
I have a question. Is Google Screen and Google Verify different?
Yes. They have multiple programs. Those that he just mentioned, definitely ways for them to generate revenue, because you can pay for those things. You can also pay for something called Google Local Services Ads, GLSA, GLSA, as it's often referred to. Those will boost you up even further in search results, but most agents don't end up using those correctly. And it's the budget numbers that scare everybody. So I saw an agent that kept showing up in the top. In fact, one of our agents, David McGee, was doing it. And he was like, why is this dude always showing up above me in the search results with the big green check mark and his picture and everything? And I ran into that guy at one of Roswell's events, like a live in Roswell event. And I started talking to him. I knew him through various other organizations that we were both a member of. And I started talking to him, and I was like, yeah, one of our agents just gets so ticked off because you always outrank him in the Google Local Services ads. And I said, how do you do that? And he said, I just kept increasing the budget. And I was like, but you, like, what's your budget at right now? It's like, $50,000 a month. And I went, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, no, I set my budget at $50,000 a month. It never goes there. I don't have to pay that. I just said I'm willing to pay that, knowing it's never going there. And the first time it started inching up, I would cancel. But what it does is it looks at your monthly budget and goes, okay, you want to, all right, you got a big budget. So we're going to, when this thing shows up, we're going to show you up above him. Now, here's the thing with that type of advertising. It doesn't charge you until they call you. Now, this is not a click that no one cares about. I click on stuff all the time throughout the day that I don't really actually care about. Something about it piqued my interest, and I went, oh, see what that's about. That's what I thought. And I move on. If you're doing pay per click, PPC, you're paying for that click. Google Local Services ads is different. You don't pay until they actually take the trouble to call you. Now, what do you think? We talked about it in here. The conversion rate on a pay-per-click or something, that type of ads, like 1 out of 100, right? It's like 1 in 100. The conversion rate on the phone call is like 1 in 4. Much, much better odds, because they're actively interested in buying or seeing or selling or something. So otherwise, they wouldn't actually want to talk to you on the phone. Like, who in this room actually thinks that people want to talk to you on the phone? You've made phone calls, right? They voicemail, then they block you. It's like, it's the polar opposite of that. They took the trouble to call you. So yes, you do pay for it. Now, the rate varies based on city to city around the United States. In New York and Los Angeles, the rate's about $61 that you pay when that person calls you, whether it turns into anything or not. But with a conversion rate of 1 out of 4 on average, if 4 people call you at 61 bucks each, and that's like 200, something dollars, and you close a real estate transaction off of it, you'll gladly pay $200 for that. Now, In Atlanta, it's much cheaper. It's only $26. So if they call you to discuss something, you're going to pay $26 for that. Now you can argue it or dispute it in the Google Local Services backend on Google. You just say, this call on this date and time was not real estate related. They wanted to rent houses or something. And you go, I don't do home or apartment rentals or house rentals. So that does not apply. And they'll review it because they record every phone call. They record every single one. They will go back and look at it and go, right, it says here that she's a residential real estate agent. Says the phone call plainly says that I'm trying to rent a house somewhere. She says I do not rent those kind of homes. Then deduct. We take it off. You don't get charged for it. What now? No, it's free. Completely free. Yeah. Yes, two in the back. I'll repeat the question. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's an appeals process. It's like anything else with Google, guys. You have to follow their process to the letter of you got to cross every T and dot every I. One step out of line, that is their excuse to go, no. And they move on because they got a lot of other people, lots of them. You could appeal it in the back end. And if you have straight up evidence that then the recording is the evidence, which is why their recording is a good thing. I think they only record the calls, by the way, that come through your Google Local Services ad. They don't record all your phone calls, just that one. Someone actually asked me that before. Then you go through, yes. You're paying for higher placement in local search for realtors. It's a profile. You fill out a Google business profile, then you sign up for Google Local Services ads, and it pulls your name, your picture, all of that stuff with a little green check mark, like it's Google verified. Yes. There's a glare behind you. I'm sorry. Car. Mm-hmm.
They're paying for that, right?
Yes, they are.
But if you sell Google or is they doing this themselves?
It's through Google. Yes. Yeah.
You said the guy said he $50,000. He had to actually put that down.
Nope. You do not. The reason is when agents first started doing it, they first came out with it 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Agents were doing what any business was doing and going, yes, how much am I willing to actually, like, if it starts working, how much am I willing to actually spend on it? And, they were putting in numbers like $400 a month, $500 a month, and they were consistently getting beaten out by obviously Mark Spain and all these other people that were doing this. And when we finally got enough research on it to know that no, it's not based on results or how much you actually spend. It's based on how much you say you're willing to spend. So Mark Spain goes in there and puts $10 million in and runs with that, $10 million a month. Never once has he spent more than, $3,000 or $4,000 a month on that. Right. And if someone sees it and they see you in your ad and they go, you know what, I trust her, I like her, I like everything this little business profile says about her, I need to talk to somebody, I'm calling that. They call you, they leave you a voicemail, or they get you on the phone. Either way, that charges you $26. And again, the conversion rate is so high that if you see a call coming in, they give you, by the way, it's not your cell phone number in there, it's a number they give you. that redirects to your cell phone number. So you will know where it comes from. And that's why you will definitely want to answer those if you do this. But if you're not willing to go put a crazy number in there to try to outrank everybody else, which I don't know why Google hasn't stopped or changed it yet, because here's the thing. It's just an arms race at this point. It's just escalation. Like, okay, well, you put in 10,000 a month, I'll put in 100,000 a month. And then it's, and yeah, it is just now it doesn't mean anything. You just put as big a number as you can in there because so you can play with everybody else when it comes to search results for real estate, for real estate agents. So I will do, you know what, once we figure out how to get this up on the screen, I will do a whole huddle on Google local services ads, Google Verify, Google Screen, all of those things, and explain the differences so that I can show you guys up on the screen back here. And maybe we can find a way to feed it into here too, so you guys can do that, see it too. But what I'm glad we got that cleared up for right now for you, Diane, originally coming back to that. Does anybody else have any more questions about Google or their services before we go on? Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, that's good. We'll get it. Yeah, we'll get it taken care of. Okay. It probably hasn't been verified yet then.
Yeah, I think it's verified. I'm unverified.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It could take, the fastest I've ever seen it is 24 hours. The longest I've ever seen it was several agents. It took 3 to 5 months. And it's 3 to 5 months.
You know what they're looking for, or is it just like whatever they decide they want to verify?
I honestly, I think it's a manpower thing on their end. I don't think, here's why they do that. Here's why they do that, guys. You would think, and a lot of platforms will let you do this. Your Facebooks, your LinkedIn's, things like that. You can put whatever you want in there and they're going to make it live. Like you could set up a LinkedIn profile right now that said you are, a yacht salesman specializing in yachts, $150 million and up. And that will be live on LinkedIn in 30 seconds. And there's no verification whatsoever. Google, and which owns YouTube, and including YouTube in this conversation, Google has customers. Okay, they're advertisers. They base that off of numbers that they produce. Who do you think those numbers are? You guys. You're the number. You're the product. Okay. They do not want their number of users to go down. Therefore, they do not want the user experience to go down. So they feel compelled, and they're right, they should do this to keep the integrity of their product up. They're right in saying, we don't want you to just be able to say that you're a business and that you do X, Y, and Z and go live to the world. Because then Chris needs that business or that type of service, and he searches it up and Google says, here it is. And then he has a horrible experience with them or finds out that the whole thing's a scam. And then their product got damaged by that. Guess what? You're not coming back. If you can't trust the results that Google gives you, you're going to switch to Bing or some other platform. That's the last thing in the world that Google wants is customers running around going, don't Google it. Like, you can't trust what they tell you. So in this case, they verify and then let you, show your business to the world. Yes.
Do you think it's best to put your name in the profile or like
Absolutely your name. And here's why. When people say, all right, let's say someone just bought a house and they're talking to someone else. So we're talking about referrals, right? They're talking to someone else and they're like, hey, didn't you want to sell your house? We just sold ours. And they're like, yeah, who'd you use? Keisha Tompkins. Great. What's her name? How you spell it? Keisha Tompkins. They're looking up 4 things. They're typing 4 things into Google. Keisha Tompkins real estate. That's what they're typing in. Chris Kimmy real estate. Bob Clarkson real estate. Which is why, if you see, notice, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I think you guys could, at the top of his, it says Bob Clarkson Real Estate. That's the name of his business. That is what everyone sees. They don't see Precious Homes Atlanta. They don't see anything like that because they said use Keisha Tompkins. They didn't say nothing about Precious Homes. Like, this is not the same thing. I don't have the right information. Don't set up any barriers to them finding you on Google and finding you on social media. Yes, ma'am. We'll stay in the back of the room.
Name as much as you don't spell it right. But let's just say I had the Bridges group and my name is Tamara Daniel Bridges. If they put in Tamara Daniel Bridges, all that stuff can come up anyway. The Bridges group, as long as it's related to your last name, would that help? Or definitely is related? Wouldn't it all just come up? Because when I search my name, I see everything.
You are giving the average public way more credit than they deserve, than they have earned. Because I can't tell you how many times that agents have told me that, yes, they were like, well, my YouTube channel is called this, but in my username is my name here. But, I told someone to go subscribe and follow me there because they were really interested in one of my videos I shared on Facebook or whatever. I said a lot more on YouTube. And they could not find me. And I'm like, if you don't put it in big, bold letters right in front of their face, they're not going to find you. So all you've done is create a barrier between you and that person doing business. And I hate to break it to you, people are lazy. They are not going one click further than they have to find you. If they don't find you right then, they're closing their phone, putting it back in their pocket, going, no, I'm sure she did a good job for you. We'll find somebody. They're not sticking and driving through, which is why in every one of your, as Selena will tell you, every one of your social media profiles, you need to have the same picture, exact same picture in the exact same clothes. I have people all the time that are like, but my Instagram is just more flashy. So I got this big round hat and this, glitter thing or whatever. And I was like, and ain't nobody that found you on Facebook finding you, because those little pictures are small enough as it is that they have to scroll down and look through and they see, well, the name is same, but that ain't her. And they just keep going. They're looking for something they've seen on your Google business profile, on your Facebook page, your LinkedIn, something on your personal. Why would, but so you're using your personal Facebook for your business? Okay. You still have to have a Facebook business page. Otherwise you can't boost or run ads. Yeah. No, if your personal's, if it's like my personal's locked down, like it's friends only. I mean, somehow I got 1,600 friends, but I don't think I know that many people. But that's locked down, and that's different. That's family stuff. It's my kids stuff. It's sports stuff. It's all that stuff. It's got, definitely not going to be looking all suave in my profile picture there. It's typically a picture of me and my wife and kids at some event. So that's completely different. And now if you invite someone to be your friend there, that's a potential customer or potential client, then that's different because you sent them an invitation for that. They didn't go out and try to find you. You sent them, so the link takes them there. There's no disputing that that's you. It's when we're talking about the other side of that coin, where they're going to search for you. You can't have any barriers. That's why your Google business profile, your Google local services ads, Google verified, Google screen, all of it has to have the exact same picture across there, the same name. Don't you get catchy and get crazy and get cute and creative, you do more damage to yourself than you do help yourself out. Yes, sir.
The video that Google bought, that's the video too.
Yeah, don't get that far. If you get to the point, his question was the video that they asked for to verify. If you get to the point where Google asks you for a business video to verify that's your business, you've set it up wrong. You do not set it up like that. You should do text verification. Choose that option. A lot of people, and this is why I wish I knew a better way to stop everyone from doing it, but I don't. When they go to set it up, you should be setting up your Google business profile as a service area, not a location. Service area, because you guys will drive and see them wherever. Your service location is for boutiques, clothing stores, independent auto mechanics, places like that. You have an address. They have to come to you to do business with you. There's no other option. You're not going to their house for any reason. You guys drive all over the place, go to people's houses. So you choose a service location, service area, and then you type in, Lawrenceville, Georgia, Duluth, Georgia, Stone Mountain, Georgia, if that's your area over there. Here you type in Roswell, Milton, Alpharetta, wherever your little area is right here. Always include Atlanta in there because some people just search by that. They consider all of this Atlanta. So just search by that. But yeah, if you're that point, we need to delete that one and start over. Yes, ma'am. Oh, Lord.
I remember seeing what's his name at that particular address that's set up as if that's their business. Okay, let's say that as well.
Yeah.
So what's when you say service area versus location, how is that the location that they kind of set it up?
That's probably the location they set it up as.
So,
Here's the thing. All of y'all's offices, everyone keeps trying to use this address. You can't have that many people in this address. We hit a limit a long time ago. It won't let nobody else be in here. And she did it. 5 agents in 2023 went in, set it up as a location, chose this address, and then said that they own this business and took over ownership away from Mike. Now, I don't have to be very descriptive or put too many adjectives in this sentence to explain to you how that meeting went afterwards. So stay away from that. Do an area of location. Also, when you put that service area, when you put that in, you start right there. So people that are closer to that address, yeah, you're going to get served up. People that are further out in areas you still service are not. So it's like you're trading off. You're going, okay, well, I want this more hyper focused on this location, like across the street at Staff Zone or CVS. And this like I want to the more intense it is, the further you go out, the less intense it is. And you won't get the same results as if you say, oh, I also sell in Alpharetta. Then Alpharetta is just going to show up as equally as Roswell will. You're going to show up there as well. Add all of those locations, put them in there. Service area, that's what it's called. Right. And here's another little hack with Google business profiles. We've had the hardest time getting agents verified, get their Google business profiles verified when their email is something wonky. Like, first of all, it needs to be an @Gmail address. So not even this work address here. It needs to be an @Gmail address because you're on Gmail here, but you're at c21connectrealty.com. It needs to be @gmail.com. Secondly, it needs to be your name. It needs to be your name. We even have agents who are like, yeah, mine's Alfred 32168 or whatever. And you're like, okay. And we had trouble with it. But then they they created a Gmail with their first name and their last name. No problem at all. It sailed right through 20 minutes later. Do not. You there's a field in there called like email contact information. That's where you put your work email in. They're not emailing this address. No one's ever going to send anything to this address other than Google, probably to verify that it's really you creating an email address if you don't already have one. But like mine worked because I had the two that I had mine's like Robert G. Hamilton 3, because I'm the third, Robert G. Hamilton 3 at gmail.com. That worked perfectly fine. My other one, Rob Hamilton Photography at gmail.com, that one worked fine because the name of the business was Rob Hamilton Photography. It matched perfect. It was a Gmail address. It sailed straight on through. Zero issues whatsoever. The issues we've had so far in this building for that are basically people with wonky email addresses that they're trying to use to set this thing up. They don't like it. Google's algorithm for verification doesn't like it. When it gets escalated, kicked up to a person to go verify, that's when you're jumping up into 3 to 4 or 5 months. Yes, ma'am. Way back there.
Name, middle initial, @Gmail.
First name, just middle initial. I don't know. I mean, you're creating something that's public. Even if you're not going to use this email address, I would still do first name, last name. No one's going to send anything to it but Google unless you start using it for other purposes. Her question was, what about first name, middle initial at gmail.com? Still Indy. Google business profile. One of the most important, there's 4 things. All right, I'll go over the 5 things. I'll go over the 5 things with you right now. For your Google business profile, you have to have 50 photos. 50. Not 49, 50. That is a threshold. You have to cross that threshold to get a check mark with Google and to know that you're a serious business and you're worth their while promoting you. Second thing, you have to have 10 videos on your channel. These videos have to be organic. You have to upload them to Google. These are not YouTube videos, even though Google owns YouTube, they don't count those. 10 videos into your Google business profile. Here's the thing with these videos, guys. They have to be 29 seconds or less, and they have to be under 100 megabytes, which means when you go to make this video to upload there, you've got to go to your phone settings, to your camera settings, change your settings from 1080p to 720p, make your video, change it from 1080p to 720p. That's your options in there. 1080, it goes 720, 1080, 4K. You got to downgrade it to standard definition. You've got to record your video under 20, I would say 20, 25 seconds, upload it to your Google business profile, and then go back into your phone and change the settings back to 1080p, lest you're recording the rest of your life in standard definition. All right. Now, that's the second thing. The third thing is 5 reviews. Now, is a big issue for a lot of people because they say, I ain't sold 5 houses. I don't care if you sold a bicycle on Facebook Marketplace. I really don't. If you sold it to your neighbor or friend and just say, hey, can you go to my Google business profile and just give me a review and just say, hey, Keisha's communication was phenomenal. Everything went just as planned. And, I would definitely use her again and leave it at that. Leave out the bicycle. Leave out the fact it wasn't a house. Leave out the fact you know her. Simple sentences like that. Those are true. They're all true about the Facebook marketplace transaction. Yes. It depends. It depends on who owns your Google business profile. Now, with Keller Williams agents, we have a huge issue with here when, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not. We have a huge issue here with Keller Williams owning their Google business profiles. They set them up for them. They own them. I'll leave that at that before I get in trouble. Now, yes.
What was it, over years? I got a lot of Zillow review, not a lot, it's a few.
Yeah.
How can I get it to where, because once we do a closing here, we send the videos, how can I get it to Central 21 though, without the closing taking place?
All right, so here's the thing. You're talking about Zillow reviews, QSS reviews, which are quality satisfaction surveys, etc. Those are 100% could not be any further from different from Google reviews.
You can't copy and paste them?
No. Here's why. Google, it has to be a Google user with a Google account that does the review on your page because it shows their name, the city they live in, and that round little profile picture. And that way, Google knows, yes, that's a real person that had a real transaction with this person and is reviewing them, good or bad, either way. And also, there's a menu buttons just below it, 2 little linked words for you to reply to their review and say, I'm so sorry you felt that way. It was a complete misunderstanding. Please reach out to me and I'll be happy to help, solve the issue. Or thank you so much for your kind words. Absolutely look forward to doing business with you again. That kind of thing. So in order for that to happen, it has to be a Google user logged into their Google account. Otherwise, you can't respond back to that person. Okay. So Google reviews are, and guess what? That's not a part of QSS or any of that process. So after closings, you're going to need to send that person a link. There's actually where it says reviews and you can get the URL for it. You can send that person a link and say, hey, will you please leave me a review? I know you got the link to the other reviews, but Google is finicky and they do their own thing. And if you have a Google account, could you log into it and leave this review? Look, I started this whole thing by saying they're big, they're mammoth, they do what they want, they don't care what we want, they don't care about QSS systems or any of that stuff. They are their own monster. All right. Good question, though. Her question was obviously you got from the answer QSS. When a client gets that after closing, it's not the same thing. You have to go do it on Google. So look, it's not easy dealing with them. They make nothing easy, but that's on purpose. If you are a serious business and you are willing to do the hard work that they put you through, they know you are a kind of business that they want to promote to their customers. And their customers are going to have a great time interacting with you and keep coming back and keep using Google for search and for business. That's it. Yeah. And Google local services ads. Yeah. But look, again, let's say 10 people called you. Let's say your conversion rate wasn't 1 out of 4, it was 1 out of 10. You spent $260 to get a deal. I mean, I don't know a real estate agent on the planet that would do that every single time.
So you have to get 50 actual photographs and 10 videos.
50 photos on your Google business profile and 10 videos.
And then what am I doing?
Interior, exterior, you, your dog, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. Now, here's the caveat with that. Don't think you're going to go home tonight and put 50 photos on there. Google knows better. They know that a legit business is probably going to add 1 to 2 photos a day. And when I say a legit business, just picture a clothing boutique on Canton Street in Roswell that goes, hey, we just realized it's now getting in the 70s and 80s. We got to get rid of these last few winter items. Take a couple of pictures of them, post them on there. You know, next 3 days only till Friday, 50% off these winter items. And that's what a real business is going to do. No real business is going to post 50 photos in a day. They know at that point, okay, now you're just trying to get around the threshold. You're just trying to trick the algorithm, not falling for it. You'll get credit for 1 or 2 of them, but then you'll throw yourself behind the curve. Next thing you know, you have 600 photos when you only needed 50. Space it out. It's going to take about 2 months. Space it out. Post a couple of 1 or 2 photos a day. The videos are typically quick updates from you guys because you only got 20-something seconds. So just get your phone out. If you're about to go host an open house at 123 Main Street, get your phone out and go, hey, everybody, just arrived. Look at this beautiful house. Host an open house today, 123 Main Street. We're going to be here from 2 to 4. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath in the heart of Roswell. Very desirable place neighborhood to live in. Come see me. And you're out. And that's your video. Okay. These are not explaining special stipulation videos. Okay. Yeah.
Did verify, and I don't have the pictures. So once I get the 50 pictures and 10 videos, then I'll get the option to get a text verification as opposed to a video.
Nope. We need to look at yours to see if we need to start over or not. Because you have to get the text verification right up front. They do that like after you put in the name of the business, the address, and the phone number. And you'll know right then if you're going down the business video road. And if you are, you got to get out, start over, and do it with the right kind of Gmail address, right name of the business, and it should fly right through.
So we can't use the connect Realty. I might miss that.
Yeah. First of all, good for you, yes. But one other person did too last fall, right around Thanksgiving break. And when I got back from Thanksgiving, they were like, yeah, it did it over the weekend. I was like, okay. You were the only 2 people that I know of in 4 years. Yeah. Caught them on a slow day. Oh, wait, let's check though. Let's see.
And it did also, when I did it a month ago, I did put location here and it let me. I didn't have phone numbers.
Yeah, there's an exception to everything. Yeah, hers is up. Oh, I got photos, videos, reviews. Number 4, questions asked by Google users logged into their account and answered by you logged into your account. So that one. Now, here's the thing with the Q&A. This is something that we found out over trial and error over time. The Q&A has to be fact-based answers. It cannot be opinion. In other words, let's say you have a friend You go ask your friend, hey, come ask me a question on Google. And your friend goes, hey, is it a good time for me to buy a house? And there are 100,000 criteria that would go into the evaluation of you answering that question. I don't know. Did you buy a boat last month? Probably not. I don't know. Did your credit take a hit over the last 3 months? No, I'm going to go with no. It's that you can't know the answer to that question without knowing a whole bunch of answers. What they're looking for are honest, factually correct, forthcoming businesses. So you get someone to go, hey, where do you sell tomorrow? What part of town? Buckhead. Hey, tomorrow, what is the average home price in Buckhead right now compared to a year ago? That's an actual number. It's in FMLS. You can look it up. Google can look it up. And they go, look at that. Yep, she's right. That's a good business right there. Yes, very. So, and what we're trying to do is cut away all the kudzu and everything else and keep you moving on that path. Okay. Now, the fifth thing, and you need 5 of those, by the way. The fifth thing is hours of operation. You guys have to put real hours in there, not open 24 hours, because you're not. You're a human being. You have to sleep. Google knows you require sleep. They know you probably also have a family. So by all means, be honest, real hours, okay? We'll do some more Google stuff next time, but we're out of time this time. We're over 3 minutes. So thank you, everybody. Let's go to work. He said I'm coming up. Last question. Still asking questions.